chose to party instead of their father's funeral. I used to believe that family never forgets you, that no matter how far children go, they always come home when it truly matters. But I was wrong, because when the moment came to say goodbye to their father, my children chose to dance instead. My name is Margaret Cole. I'm 58 years old, a mother of 3, and until a few weeks ago, a wife. I live in a small house on the edge of town, the one my husband, Mark, built with his own hands. He used to joke that every nail he hammered had a piece of his heart in it. Now that he's gone, I think he was right, because the walls still beat with his memory. Sometimes, I still hear his laughter in the kitchen. Sometimes I turn around expecting him to walk in, wiping his hands on that old towel he never washed properly. But the only sound now is the clock ticking and the wind slipping through the windows he never got to. Sealed. Mark was my whole world. 32 years of love, struggle, and quiet mornings that felt like forever. He wasn't a rich man, but he was a good man, the kind who fixed everything. Broken chairs, broken fences, even broken hearts. And the last thing he ever said to me was, greater than don't let them drift too far, Maggie. Family should stay close. But now they're further than I ever imagined. Our children, Emma, Josh, and Lily, knew their father was gone. They knew he didn't wake up that morning. They knew there was a funeral planned. But as the hours passed, their calls became fewer, their messages shorter, their excuses longer. The night before the funeral, I sat on the edge of our bed, staring at Mark's jacket hanging behind the door. It still smelled like him, engine oil, coffee, and that cheap cologne he bought every Christmas. I pressed the fabric against my face and whispered, "They'll come tomorrow, love. They'll say goodbye." But deep down, I wasn't sure I believed it. I called Emma first, our eldest. She didn't answer. A text came instead. "Greater than Mom. I might be late tomorrow. Long drive. Don't start without me." Without her. It wasn't a dinner. It was her father's funeral. Then I called Josh, our middle child. He sounded distracted, his voice tangled with laughter and music in the background. "Greater than, yeah, Mom, I know. I'll try to make it. We just got to this work event. A party." His father's heart had stopped 2 days ago, and my son was talking about a party. I hung up before he could say more. I didn't call Lily, our youngest. She was always the emotional one. Maybe she'd be different. That night, I didn't sleep. The house felt like it was holding its breath. I sat in the living room, funeral clothes folded neatly beside me, and watched the rain blur the streetlights outside. Each droplet against the window sounded like a heartbeat, fading, fading, fading. The day the house went quiet the next morning, the funeral home was too clean, too white, too quiet. Mark lay in his favorite gray suit, the one he wore at Emma's wedding when he danced even though his back hurt. His hands were still calloused from years of hard work, hands that built our home, our garden, our life. I stood beside him, clutching his wedding ring. People came, people left, neighbors, friends, a few coworkers. They offered hugs, tears, sympathy, but not the faces I was waiting for. No Emma, no Josh. No Lily. The pastor's voice echoed softly. "We gather here to remember a good man." But all I could think was, where are his children? When the final prayer ended and the casket began to lower, I felt something inside me collapse. It wasn't just grief. It was shame. Because how do you tell the world your children didn't come to say goodbye? The rain started again, soft and steady. It sounded like the sky was crying for me. I whispered, "Greater than, I'm sorry, love. I couldn't bring them. I don't know what happened to them." That night, I sat in the kitchen, the light dim, Mark's favorite chair still pushed out slightly from the table. My phone buzzed. A video notification. Emma's name. My hands trembled as I opened it. I thought, maybe it's a message. Maybe they felt guilty. Maybe they were coming home. But what I saw froze my heart. Music, laughter, flashing lights. Emma in a glittering dress. Smiling. Josh beside her, holding a drink. Lily spinning in circles. Laughing. A birthday cake. Balloons. Someone shouting, "To new beginnings." And then Emma's voice, carefree, almost singing, "Greater than, best night ever." We all needed this. The phone slipped from my hand and hit the floor. The sound echoed through the empty kitchen. They had chosen to party instead of saying goodbye to their father. I sat there for hours, still in my funeral dress, the phone screen glowing faintly on the floor. Their laughter played again and again, mixing with the sound of the rain outside. When the sun rose, I made coffee for one. Mark's mug sat beside mine, empty but waiting. I didn't call them that. day dot or the next dot or the one after that dot, because grief isn't only about losing the dead, it's about realizing the living are already gone. Asterisk. Story title, They Chose to Party Instead of Their Father's Funeral. Part 2, short version, emotional cinematic. First person. It's been 3 weeks since Mark's funeral. 3 weeks since I buried the man who built this house with his hands and my heart with his love. And 3 weeks since my children disappeared from my life without a word. Without goodbye, the silence has become my closest companion. I water his plants, fold his shirts, and talk to a chair that doesn't answer. I tell myself they'll come home, but hope feels like dust these days. Then, a knock. Soft, hesitant when I open the door. Emma stands there behind her. Josh and Lily. All three of them. The faces I once kissed goodnight, now older. Guilt written all over them. They look scared, like strangers who forgot how to be family. Mom, can we come in? Emma's voice cracks. We sit at the kitchen table. I make tea, just like Mark did. Strong, no sugar. The air is thick with everything unsaid. Finally, I ask, greater than, why didn't you come? Emma's eyes drop. Josh looks away. Lily's lips tremble. It wasn't what you think. Emma whispers. Greater than, I saw the video, I tell her. I saw the lights, the laughter, the music. You were celebrating. Josh slams his hand on the table. Greater than, because that's what Dad wanted. His voice echoes in the silence. My heart stops. Emma reaches into her bag and slides an envelope toward me, my name in Mark's handwriting. I unfold it with trembling hands. Greater than. Asterisk. Maggie, don't be angry with the kids. I made them promise. No black clothes, no tears. Let them celebrate life, not mourn death. Greater than, I don't want my goodbye to be full of sorrow. Greater than, if they danced, it means I did something right. Asterisk. I stop breathing. Tears blur the ink. For a long moment, no one speaks. Greater than, we threw the party for him. Mom, Lily says softly. Greater than, at the same hall where you two first met. We laughed. We cried. We told stories about him. We celebrated his life. The room spins. That old hall on Maple Street. That's where Mark first asked me to dance. That's where our story began. Emma reaches into her bag again and pulls out a small wooden box. Dad wanted you to have this last, she says, on the lid. Mark had carved, greater than for Maggie when it's too quiet. Inside, a flash drive and another note. Play me when you're ready. Josh plugs it into my old laptop. Mark's face fills the screen, smiling, tired, but alive. Greater than, hey love, he says, chuckling. If you're watching this, I guess I couldn't fix this one. Promise me something. Don't live in grief. Let the kids live too. And if they danced instead of cried, let them. That means I left them with joy. The video ends, but his voice lingers, warm, steady, eternal. I close the laptop. The house doesn't feel empty anymore. The next morning, the kids stay for breakfast. Emma makes coffee. Josh fixes a squeaky cabinet. Lily hums while setting the table. For the first time in weeks, the house breathes again. When they leave, Emma hugs me tight. Greater than, we'll come back next Sunday. I smile. Greater than, you'd better. Your father would hate an empty table. They laugh softly, and for a heartbeat, it feels like he's here. That night, I open the wooden box again. Something inside it shifts, a false bottom. I lift it and find one more note. Asterisk. Maggie. If they've come home, it means you can let me go. Thank you for keeping the house warm. Greater than, I'm finally home to. Asterisk. I press the note to my heart. Step outside under the quiet stars. The wind brushes my cheek like his touch, and I whisper, greater than, you were right, love. Funerals are for the living, and love never really dies.